As soon as this was introduced, I knew it was a mistake. I've always supported the triple lock, I supported the winter fuel allowance, and I couldn't believe a Labour government was doing it. When I go through my constituents, I go on the bus to work, I'm walking through town, people are stopping me, and there are lots of pensioners who are saying, I worked, I've got a little pension, takes me over the edge of pension credit, and I'm losing out. But they're actually in poverty, so I'm worried, I'm really worried. We just had a new wave of COVID, a lot of people are very vulnerable. I'm worried that I think excess deaths may go up, really damaging for the government if that does happen, but obviously the loss of life for those people is horrendous. But also, even if there isn't loss of life, people will have respiratory conditions, we'll be flooding our wards again in our hospitals. This is just a huge mistake.
There's so much disrespect for older people. This was never in the Labour Party manifesto. It came as an absolute shock. And there's been no actual adequate explanation why the urgency to do it this year. You know, we are the 6th richest economy in the world, and they choose to steal from pensioners. So, yeah, we're angry.
I think for Keir Starmer, who shocked me by the number of freebies he's taken, that absolutely shocked me to the core, because I worked in public service in my life as well. I never took a penny from nobody, and I never would. I don't think he should either. He earns enough to be able to afford clothes and things for himself. We pensioners have to buy our own clothes or go to a charity shop to buy the clothes. Why should he get freebies, at his level? And the rest of his party as well. I'm just shocked with the Labour, and I voted Labour most of my life, I did.
How are the winter fuel payment cuts going to affect you?
It will affect me because I'm a widowed mother. But my children are all grown up now. But because I was a widow, I never got widow's pension. I only had a child allowance. So that affected my pension. So I've only been on a very, very small pension. So that has affected me enormously. I've got a private pension, but because I've got a private pension, that has taken me a little bit, just that much, over the threshold, so I cannot claim pension credit. So that will affect me enormously. It's only me alone, so therefore I can't afford to put the heating on all the time.
Well, I think, first of all, there's going to be a huge amount of pensioners who will get ill. If they do not put on their heating, they're going to get ill. Older people are more prone to cold and heat. But of course, if at the worst case, you've got a situation where pensioners could die, we don't need to be in this situation. He needs to reverse the decision.
Are you disappointed in the Labour government?
Well, look, I'm disappointed that they've made a decision to pick the pocket of pensioners and leave the super rich totally untouched. The reason people voted Labour, the reason I voted Labour, was because I wanted a much fairer and more equal society. And if a first act is to pick the pocket of pensioners, that is not giving you a fair and equal society. It's wrong, and they need to reverse it.
You're director of the Silver Voices campaign group.
Yeah.
Have you heard from lots of your members who are worried about this cut?
Oh, many of them are. Many of them are already saying in other parts of the country where it's cold, not like here, but many of them are saying we already have not put on our heating even though we need it. We just can't afford it. And perhaps if we've got a little bit of money, we'll save it until it's really, really, really cold before we put the heating on. And that's no good for anybody's health.
I've actually taken the measure now to switch my hot water system off at home, which I never thought I would get to that point, to try and obviously save money and conserve money for obvious reasons. I feel very, very strongly about this situation, and particularly for the over 80s, where they're going to lose £300. These are the more elderly of our pensioner group people, which have, a lot of them have been through the war years and this, that and the other. They've all worked hard for and got their positions in life. It's just a terrible decision. The government, in my opinion, have just jumped into this without really thinking through the real implications it's going to have on people. And I honestly think they need to have a drastic rethink on it.
Just finally, what's your message to Keir Starmer?
Think again on this urgently.